Hello hockey fans, and welcome to the third and final episode of our investigation into the NHL cover athlete curse. I'm assuming that all of you watching this are already up to speed with the previous two episodes in this mini-series, and you're here to find out the overall results, so in an effort to not waste either of our time, I'm just going to get right into it. If you haven't watched parts 1 and 2 of the series, and you have no idea what I'm talking about here, just go and watch them first, you'll thank me later guys. So to quickly recap, at the end of part 2, we discovered that of the 26 athletes to feature on the first 20 covers of EA Sports' NHL series, 8 different players suffered from a cover athlete curse, 12 different players had an improved season, while 6 players saw little difference either way. So 2 decades into the series' lifespan, cover athletes were more likely to produce a better season than a cursed one, and were twice as likely to improve than produce little to no difference between the 2 years. But how will the most recent decade affect these numbers? Well, let's find out, folks. We'll start with the 21st game in the series, which is of course NHL 12. This is the third straight title to only be playable on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 consoles, and it features Tampa Bay Lightning forward Steven Stamkos on the cover. The year before his cover appearance during the 10-11 NHL season, Stamkos produced a strong third year in the league by potting 45 goals and 91 points in 82 regular season games, earning himself a place at the 2011 All-Star game, as well as a spot on the second All-Star team in the process. When he was on the cover though for the 11-12 season, the former first overall pick would produce one of, if not the best season of his entire NHL career to date, as he scored a whopping 60 goals and 97 points in 82 games. Not only would this standout year help him earn another place at the All-Star game and on the second All-Star team too, he would also, unsurprisingly, be awarded the Rocket Richard Trophy as the league's highest goalscorer. In fact, Stamkos' 60-goal year is the most goals a player has scored in a single NHL season in the last 12 years at the time of this recording, with Alexander Ovechkin's 65-goal year in 07-08 being the only higher total since the turn of the century. So given the vastly greater numbers he produced, as well as the award he won while he was on the cover, for the first time in this mini-series, we're kicking off the episode with an improved season. It may have taken a while to get there, but it was certainly worth the wait, right guys? Moving on to the second entry of this episode now, as next we have NHL 13. This is the third and final title of the series to date to be affected by a lockout, and it featured Philadelphia Flyers forward Claude Giroux on the box art. During the prior 11-12 NHL season, Giroux would register the most productive year of his career at the time, and the second highest scoring season of his entire career to date, as he potted 28 goals and 93 points in 77 games, earning a place at the 2012 All-Star game in the process. Now, due to the aforementioned lockout, the 12-13 NHL season was limited to just 48 regular season games. So while Giroux played very well by notching 13 goals and 48 points in exactly 48 games played, it was near impossible for him to come anywhere close to his previous season's numbers. For the sake of comparison, Giroux's scoring pace would have likely seen him finish an 82-game season with exactly 82 points, and whilst that would still be 11 less points in 5 more games than the year prior, I've still got to put him in the little difference category here. Yeah, he scored at a weaker pace and missed out on the 2013 All-Star game, but come on guys, he scored a point per game during a lockout-shortened season where he didn't get to play as much as he would have in years past. You can't exactly call that a cursed year, can you? Next up on our journey, we have NHL 14. This title is often regarded as the last great game the series has ever had, and is the first time a goalie has been featured on the cover since NHL 97, as it stars one of the greatest netminders to have ever played the game in New Jersey Devils goalie Martin Brodeur. The year before he was on the cover during the lockout-shortened 12-13 season, Brodeur registered one of the quieter performances of his 22-year NHL career, as he posted a 13-9-7 record, a 2.22 goals against average, and a .901 save percentage in 29 games, which over an 82-game season would have put the 41-year-old at a 26-18-14 record in 58 games, which wasn't too dissimilar from his prior few years. Though his season on the box art in 13-14 would see him register decent individual stats, the former first-round pick produced one of the weakest records of his entire NHL career, as he posted a 19, 14 and 6 record, a 2.51 goals against average, and a .901 save percentage in 39 games. So he went 6, 5 and 1 in the extra 10 games that he played. His goals against average was noticeably worse, yet his save percentage remained exactly the same. If you ask me, there isn't enough of a change one way or the other to suggest that he had an improved or a cursed season, so welcome to the little difference category, Brodeur. Time for the 4th game of this episode, and the 24th game in the series now, as next we have NHL 15. This is the first game to be available on the most recent generation of consoles, such as the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and it features Boston Bruins forward Patrice Bergeron on the cover. During the prior 13-14 season, Bergeron recorded similar numbers to his other 9 NHL seasons at the time, as he scored 30 goals and 62 points in 80 games, took home his second Frank J. Selke trophy as the league's best defensively minded forward, as well as the NHL Foundation Player Award given to the player who applies the core values of hockey to enrich the lives of people in his community. However, when he was on the cover during the 14-15 season, the former second-round pick's production would take somewhat of a step back, yet he received equal or even better individual accolades, as he notched 23 goals and 55 points in 81 games, won another Frank J. Selke trophy, and earned a place at the 2015 All-Star Game too. So despite scoring 7 less points in one more game played, the slight drop in his numbers is equally balanced out by him earning his first appearance at the All-Star Game if you ask me, so I'm going to have to put him in the little difference category too. 3 in a row already? God, I hope this isn't becoming a theme here. Halfway through the most recent decade now, as next we have NHL 16. This title features one of the more interesting stories regarding the cover athlete this episode, as it was supposed to be the first game since NHL 96 to feature multiple players on the box art. But similarly to what happened to NHL 2004, controversy forced a change of ideas. Originally, Chicago Blackhawks forwards Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane were both supposed to make their second appearance on the cover after winning their third Stanley Cup championship in just 6 seasons. But unfortunately, Patrick Kane was removed from the box art before the game was even released due to being part of an ongoing police investigation involving a sexual assault allegation, though those charges were later dropped in court over a lack of evidence. So because Jonathan Toews was the only player to be featured on the cover once the game was actually released worldwide, he is the sole player we shall be looking at for this title. During the prior 14-15 NHL season, Toews finished the year with numbers on par to his prior years in the league, as he potted 28 goals and 66 points in 81 games. Not only would he book a place at the 2015 All-Star Game and be awarded the Marc Messier Leadership Award given to the player who best leads his team by example on the ice, alongside his charitable and community work off the ice, his 21 points in 23 playoff games helped Chicago lift the aforementioned 2015 Stanley Cup Championship. Leading the closest thing we've seen to a dynasty in the last few decades is a worthy reason to be on the cover once again if you ask me, folks. The year he was on the cover though, during the 15-16 season, the former 3rd overall draft pick would struggle to keep up his scoring pace or replicate his previous success in the trophy cabinet too, as he scored 28 goals and 58 points in 80 games, and was named to the 2016 All-Star Game, but he was unable to attend due to injuries. Now, part of me really wants to say that Jonathan Toews suffered from a cover athlete curse this year, as he scored 8 less points in 1 less game played. He didn't win the cup or an individual award, and though he was still selected to the All-Star Game, he didn't actually make it there. That said, he scored the exact same number of goals as the year prior, and he would have attended the All-Star Game if he was healthy at the time. So other than scoring 8 less assists in 1 more game played, which isn't exactly a failed year, winning the Stanley Cup, which you can't solely blame Toews for, or winning the Leadership Award, while still important isn't solely due to on-ice play, there wasn't that big of a difference between Toews' overall play from one year to the next. So I'm once again going to have to put him in the little difference category here. You might disagree with me, and there's certainly an argument that you can make there, but this is where I fall given the evidence presented to me, so feel free to let me know your thoughts about this selection in the comments down below. Next up, we have NHL 17. This title returns to its usual lone athlete on the cover, and it includes far less controversy compared to the year prior, as it features St. Louis Blues forward Vladimir Tarasenko on the box art. During the prior 15-16 NHL season, Tarasenko had quite the year for himself, thanks to potting an impressive 40 goals and 74 points in 80 regular season games, while also earning a place at the 2016 All-Star Game for his efforts. The year he was on the cover for the 16-17 season, the former first-round pick would record the most productive season of his entire NHL career to date, as he notched 39 goals and 75 points in 82 games, and earned another invite to the All-Star Game too. So he received the exact same accolade as the year prior, and scored one more point in 2 more games played. If that's not the most obvious pick for the little difference category that we've seen so far in this series, I don't know what is, folks. We're getting pretty close to the end of the series now, as next we have NHL 18. This title is the first to be void of any regional cover athlete on physical copies of the game since NHL 2004, and it stars Edmonton Oilers forward Connor McDavid on the cover. The year before his appearance during the 16-17 season, McDavid would firmly establish himself as the league's next big superstar, as he scored 30 goals and 100 points in 82 games, was named to both the 2017 All-Star Game and the first All-Star team, while also being awarded the Art Ross Trophy as the league's highest point scorer, the Hart Memorial for League MVP as voted for by the media, as well as the Ted Lindsay Award for League MVP as voted for by the players. So yeah, McJesus had a pretty good year for himself. During the following 17-18 NHL season though, the former first overall draft pick would find a way to play even better than the year before, as he scored 41 goals and 108 points in 82 regular season games, was named to the All-Star Game and the first All-Star team once again, and recaptured the Art Ross and Ted Lindsay Awards too. However, he was unable to win the Hart Memorial once again, as it was instead awarded to New Jersey Devils forward Taylor Hall. Given that he scored more points than the year prior, earned the same individual accolades, and won almost the exact same awards from one year to the next, you might be thinking that McDavid should be put in the improved category, since he scored 8 more points in the exact same number of games played. That said, I think McDavid should become the 6th consecutive player this decade to be placed in the little difference column, as him missing out on recapturing the Hart Trophy counterbalances his slightly increased scoring numbers if you ask me. After all, it's clear that McDavid continued to play up to his lofty standards, but his performance was neither helped nor hindered greatly by being the athlete on the cover, so I think the little difference column is right where he should be. Moving on to the 28th title in the series now, as next we have NHL 19. This is just the 3rd game in the series to feature a defenseman on the cover, and is the first to do so in exactly a decade, as it stars Nashville Predators blue liner PK Subban. During the prior 17-18 NHL season, Subban would register one of the most productive seasons of his entire NHL career, as he potted 16 goals and 59 points in 82 games, good enough to earn him a place at the 2018 All-Star Game and a place on the second All-Star team too. However, the year he was on the cover for the 18-19 season, Subban's game would seemingly regress overnight, and he would go on to register one of the least productive seasons of his entire career, as he scored just 9 goals and 31 points in 63 games, missed out on any All-Star berths, and was even traded to the New Jersey Devils before the following 2019-20 season got underway. Having produced a vastly inferior season compared to the year prior, PK Subban becomes the first player of Part 3 to finally be hit with the cover athlete curse. It was a long time coming, but it certainly didn't disappoint, although Subban sure did that year. Penultimately this decade, we have NHL 20. The most recent game of the series, in which the cover athlete has seen how their year on the box art has played out, this title returns to showcasing an emerging young superstar on the cover, as it features Toronto Maple Leafs forward Auston Matthews. During the prior 18-19 season, Matthews would produce similar, yet slightly improved numbers compared to his prior 2 years in the league, as he scored 37 goals and 73 points in 68 regular season games, and was named to the 2019 All-Star Game for his efforts. His year on the cover during the following 2019-20 season, though, would see the former first overall draft pick absolutely explode on the score sheet, as he potted a career-high 47 goals and 80 points in 70 games, while also earning another trip to the All-Star game too. Now, given that he received the exact same accolade in each of the 2 seasons, and went on to score 7 more points in 2 more games played, part of me wants to add him onto the long list of players in the little difference category, as it's a very similar situation to a guy like Connor McDavid. That said, despite only scoring 7 more points that year, he scored 10 more goals than the year prior, was in the conversation for the Rocket Richard Trophy all year long, to the point where if he'd scored another goal or 2, he would have clinched the trophy for himself, while also keeping the rest of his game and the accolades he received consistent with the year prior. So unlike a guy like McDavid, who I put in the little difference category, and he scored more points but lost out on the Hart Trophy, Auston Matthews kept the accolades consistent and then went on to score 10 more goals. So I think I'm going to have to make him the first player since NHL 12 to be added to the improved column. You're welcome, Matthews. Some of you may disagree, but it's my list, so it's my choice, you know. And that brings us to the 30th title in EA Sports' series, and the latest release to date, which is of course NHL 21. This is just the second game in the series to reuse a previous cover athlete, as it stars Washington Capitals forward Alexander Ovechkin. Now, despite Ovechkin scoring 48 goals and 67 points in 68 games during the prior 2019-20 NHL season, while also taking a trip to the 2020 All-Star game and being named the joint winner of the Rocket Richard Trophy, we obviously can't place Ovi on the list at the time of this recording, since he hasn't had the chance to take to the ice during the virus-shortened 2021 season. I mean, the season hasn't even started yet, let alone come to any sort of conclusion, so it wouldn't be fair both for Ovi and the entire investigation to place him in one of the 3 categories based on predictions or his prior play in the league. That said, that doesn't mean we can't open up a discussion on the matter. Considering that Ovechkin will turn 36 years old this year, will be entering his 15th season in the NHL, and despite once again winning the Rocket Richard Trophy, is coming off one of the least productive seasons of his entire NHL career, how do you think he will perform during the proposed 56-game season that starts in the new year? I think he could easily crack 30 goals and finish the year with 50 to 60 points, but I could also see him producing a better, or even a slightly worse season than that too. Either the extended rest he has received this year will help him continue to play at his consistently high level from years past, or the extra time away from the rink will have made him a little more rusty than usual, and the points will become a little harder to come by as he begins to enter his twilight years in the league. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens, folks. So now that we have reached present day, how did the latest decade turn out? Well, of the 9 most recent cover athletes in the series, not including Alexander Ovechkin of course, just a single player suffered from a cover athlete curse, that of course being defenseman PK Subban. Though that might sound like great news, as it once again debunks the existence of any kind of curse, only 2 players produced an improved season while they were on the cover, yet a whopping 6 different athletes produced little difference either way from one year to the next. So if you are a cover athlete of an NHL game between 2011 and 2019, you were 3 times more likely to produce little difference in your game than an improved season, and 6 times more likely to neither be helped nor hindered that much than suffer a cover athlete curse. Either EA Sports did their research and picked cover athletes who they knew would keep playing at their previously high levels, or they simply got incredibly lucky with their selections. Which one is correct? Who knows? Does it really matter? Well, no. This means that of the 35 athletes to feature on the first 29 games of EA Sports' NHL video game series, 9 different players suffered from a cover athlete curse, 14 players produced improved seasons, while 12 players saw little difference either way. So after 3 episodes in this miniseries, and over an hour of viewing on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, I can now give you official confirmation that the NHL cover athlete curse does not exist. In fact, quite the opposite, as more players seem to play better or just as well as the year before when they are on the cover. Who would have thought featuring one of the best athletes in the league from the year prior would result in them playing equally as well, if not better, the year they were featured? It's a good thing we did the research and found out, folks? And with that, I'm going to end today's video. Thank you ever so much for joining me on this journey through hockey game history. I really appreciate the fact that a lot of you watched this and for an extended period of time and gave me the chance to kind of see this journey through to the end. Just a heads up that this will be my last proper upload on the channel until 2021 begins, so I really hope you enjoyed watching it and this kept you content for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be uploading a video sometime in a couple of days explaining what's going on with the channel over the next few weeks, but to summarise in case you don't catch it, I'm going to be taking a break for the holidays in order to recharge my creative batteries and spend time with my family and my girlfriend, but I'll be back and better than ever in January with some great videos and plenty more hockey content for you to enjoy as the NHL season finally gets underway. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye! A big thank you to Carl Fairbank, Chris Gadsby, Connor B, Drew Fawcett, Jordan Whitehead, Martin Tolness, Paul Mallia, Roman from London, Tom from Finland, and Worthless Pieces for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.